Thank you very much. I'm happy to be kicking off this session. And what I'm really going to try to do is give a little bit of a history and background to what caribou is, because I know not everybody here is familiar with caribou, and some who may not be familiar with it. And then talk a little bit about the specific aims of our Interactions Core, and hopefully get to some challenges and future directions with respect to collaboration. So I just want to remind everybody that this was a pilot, that the U24 Interactions Core started as a pilot initiative. It sort of flowed from the O'Brien centers, which had been coordinating their work for some years, but the program officers at NIDDK wanted now to draw in the P20 exploratory centers and K-12 centers and make it a bigger sort of consortium. And so a pilot initiative was started, directed by the NIDDK program officers, with some money that was left over at one of the O'Brien centers to sort of create a center, if you will, an interactions core. And so I started to do that. I was recruited to do that. And we got monthly meetings sort of organized, and we got a website, and we got communications going, and decided that this was a good thing. And so the RFA for the Interactions Core came out last year. And thankfully, I got it. And Dr. Betsy Rowland, my co-investigator, was a great part of my success. And so the website is up, and you've all been directed to see it. We've got not only a website, but also an intranet, if you will, for caribou affiliated personnel. And increasingly, we're using this to carry out work and communications between events and so forth. We also have a mechanism for applications for the O'Brien Center opportunity pools. So as Dr. Brooks was putting in his chat yesterday or today, I think his center is going to be asking for applications soon. You'll certainly get the info from him and work him on the development of your proposal, but you'll submit it on our platform. So the specific aims of the Interactions Core is to really kind of provide the intellectual hub for all the brains that are in the caribou community, and to do collaboration and outreach so that we are all kind of working together as much as possible, expanding our knowledge and sharing knowledge and resources, providing administrative support, and then doing evaluation, which is something that if I have time, I'll talk to at the end. Evaluation kind of goes to what Dr. Kesselman was just talking about. It's disseminating the findings of our work as we are trying to build collaborations. And our approach is really a stakeholder approach. I borrowed this framework and adapted it from another set of literature, really. And it's really to sort of just say we're at the Interactions Core really embarking on this initiative with stakeholder leadership and engagement type principles. So in other words, everything we do is really from you and back to you. And that's kind of how we try to focus most of our work. All right, so I want to skip to accomplishments so I can get to some of the other stuff more quickly. So as I said, we try to provide scientific leadership, be the intellectual hub, making sure that we have diversity at all our meetings. At the 2020 meeting, for example, we were really looking for diversity between all the caribou centers and gender diversity and so forth. We want to have yearly collaboration awards. And I mentioned earlier yesterday, if you didn't hear it, in 2022, the Interactions Core will be putting out another round of notice of applications for what we're calling Caribou Collaboration Awards. And this is open to people outside of caribou as well. But the goal is to be able to, unite different teams of people together, especially people new to urology research. We like those kinds of teams, and young, junior, and senior investigators. And we'll have all these criteria put out soon. In fact, they're probably already on our website. We are going to be embarking on a big initiative next year in stakeholder engagement. A lot of research now is requiring that there be stakeholder engagement. The Department of Defense even has a requirement for patient engagement in their basic science FOAs. So, a lot of us are going to have to be familiar with these concepts, and we're going to start an initiative for that in the future. We have a lot of resources on our website. So we've been able to accomplish, by gathering the resources of the O'Brien centers and hopefully now other centers as well, we've been able to accomplish a lot of what we wanted, which was collectivize and centralize a lot of what caribou has to offer. We do a lot of outreach, and we have a lot of events that we want people to be part of. Another thing we're doing next year is we want to really build up our diversity blueprints, if you will, so that centers and programs in Caribou can use some of the things that we put together to help their grant writing and to help their initiatives become more diverse. As we've all said, as Jill McCoska said yesterday and others have said, we need to diversify the pipeline of the workforce that works on these issues. And of course, we want to promote Caribou broadly within the broader community. So glad to see that there's so many non-Caribou people at this meeting. I'm going to skip past the part where we talk about meetings and things because you're already seeing that. And then I want to get to our fourth aim. So this is really where I think we can be of service to the broader community. It's one place anyway. And what we're trying to do is evaluate our efforts at building collaborations. And so if we have successes in those areas, we want to highlight them, we want to document them, we want to describe them. And so our evaluation process is really very comprehensive. And Dr. Rowland and Jennifer Almaris from our Interactions Core are really spearheading this, but this is really busy. But what I want to point out is that the kinds of things we're measuring within Caribou and hoping to be able to disseminate them are, for example, how many new investigators are participating in Caribou? How many trainees are participating in leadership opportunities? Are we providing opportunities for people from diverse backgrounds to be part of our field? Are we getting an increase in the number of submitted proposals for benign urologic diseases? And, so things, in addition to many other things, these are the kinds of things we want to measure and be able to disseminate so that the rest of the community can help us evaluate whether this is really a good model. Some of the challenges that we face in forming collaborative interest or collaborative research groups within Caribou, and these are real fears. There's the fear of engaging with people in paper writing and grant submissions who may be on scientific review committees. And I think I've heard a lot of people say that this can be a real problem, especially when their area of science is really quite narrow and there's maybe only a few people that are really expert at it. So these are things that we are talking with program officers about, and we may need to figure some ways around this in order to get people to work together, but yet not to be afraid at what that might do to their grant applications. And then we also want to help the O'Brien Centers with their summer student enrichment programs. There are some O'Brien Centers doing, they're all doing really great things, but we want to take great things and centralize them and sort of disseminate those to the rest of the O'Brien Centers so that we can kind of standardize and maybe help enhance even further the great work that they're doing. And then I mentioned, of course, patient engagement. There's a lot of room for collaboration in this area, but it's a challenge because a lot of us don't really know how to do it. So I'm just going to conclude here with some future directions. We definitely are going to be publishing from the Interactions Core our experience with some of these efforts, whether we're being successful or not. If we are, what's our blueprint? What's our methods? Can people reproduce it? And then, of course, we want to continue to strengthen and enhance our visibility within the broader community through all kinds of programming, some of which we've already unveiled this year, but much of which we're going to be finishing next year as well. So thanks for your attention. Talk to you later.